Hey everybody, welcome back. So this time around I'm going to be a little faster because we would have had some prerequisite knowledge working with some layers and stuff. But in this case, we're going to be combining images so that they blend together. So think of it as how we do photo manipulation, where maybe you'd like to enhance an image. Maybe the sky isn't as vivid as you want it to be. Maybe you'd like to make something from day to night. Maybe you'd like to blend the colors from one image to another. That's what we're going to be looking at today. So I'm going to show you some images that I got from Pixels. So I'm working with Pixels today. So you got like this building, and then I got like a sunset sky. So a sunset sky with this, that almost seems like it doesn't make sense because, I mean, when you think about this, the colors here is very vivid and blue. And then the other image, I mean, in this case, there's night skies. The other image I got was this one, nice vivid sky. So imagine that same afternoon, kind of busy period, midday, and then you're seeing what it looks like at, say, evening time. So we're going to be blending these two images together. Mind you, might not get a perfect blend because there's so many different features that we could attempt to do, but we're going to keep it simple so that you can understand working with adjustment layers. All right, so let's go right into Affinity where we left off. So we're going to start again working for the screen. So, most computers have a 1920 by 1080. I mean, there are higher ones now, but I'm going to work with the full HD here, video and web. And I'll just press OK. So we can choose to have a transparent background, but we're not going to be working with as much images as the last time. It's working with those two. So let's go to our folder, and I'm just going to bring up the files that we're working with today. So here we are. Let's make them bigger so you can appreciate them. So I'm going to be doing two of them. So I'm going to blend this with this, and then afterwards I'm going to be blending this with this. Let's see what we can do. So like before, we're going to be selecting our images, and then in Affinity, we're going to drag them into our workspace. So now that we've done that, we're going to have to rearrange and resize a few things. So for sky here, we have our building here. Let's work with them one by one. So this is our sky, or sorry, our building. I'm going to zoom out a little bit and reduce the size. Not sure why it's not showing, but I'll bring up my keys again. So, and toggle my settings so that you can see it displaying on screen. So you know what buttons I'm pressing. So maybe you like it right down in the middle. That's distraction. All right, so we just resize this so that it matches our width. And we also have this sky here. I mean, granted, when we're showing this, it's going to fit in a tiny area just right here. Right, so this is largely rectangular. So we could literally just go in to our image, choose how you want it to be seen. And then we can take our rectangle and just going to make a selection here. Make sure that we're using a new selection mode. Click that, drag this over like so, just about there. And if that's not perfect enough, we can actually take the freehand selection tool, take it to polygonal mode, zoom in, and just make some quick selections here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's kind of straight lines. Again, it's not perfect, but it's our intention. So we're gonna go all the way around and come back to this point. So now we have a nice selection there. That's the part we actually want to get rid of. So we're gonna press delete. And so that part gets hidden with a mask. Next we have the sky, and we actually just want to flip them over. So here we go. So let's remove this selection. Just change our tool. Rectangle marquee, click somewhere, and the switch is around like so. Now, evidently this looks weird, right? We actually want our building to be um, have the same color as the sky. And we know there's a big contrast. So, I mean, while it can be poetic looking, it's not accurate looking. So we want like a bit of we could attempt to do a reflection, but because of all these different panels, it might take some time, which is not impossible to do, but take some time. So we're gonna forego that part for now, but right now we want the rest of the mood of the image to feel like it's like this evening time thing. So I'll hide the sky for now. Well, let's keep the sky. We want to add what we call an adjustment layer. Adjustment layers work like this. Anything that is below an adjustment layer is going to be affected by the adjustment. So for example, we want to add an adjustment layer to just the buildings, but the sky is below it. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to give it like a more of a pinkish kind of evening hue. So what we can do is we can adjust it by clicking on this here. We have not filters, but we have adjustments. So effects, masking, filters, and adjustment. So click on adjustment, and we can adjust things like our levels, or colors. We can use curves, we can use vibrance, we can change the hue of things. There's a lot of stuff that we have access to. So we try, for example, curves. Curves allow us to adjust our colors. So if right now you're seeing this, might not make any sense. This affects everything. So you realize I'm not just affecting the building alone, I'm affecting the sky as well. But this affects all of our channels. And colors work with channels. These channels are your red, your green, and your blue, as well as your alpha. So you can actually isolate them too. You have RGB here for the mode. You have master. You can change it up. So for example, maybe you like the building to be a bit more red. You can do that. Tweak this up a little bit. But alas, it's affecting the sky. We don't want to affect the sky. So here's how we're going to do this. So say we keep this, we can actually add a mask to our adjustment. So here's what we're going to do. Remember that control clicking on the thumbnail? We're going to control click on just the building, that selection we made before. And then for this curve, we're going to apply that selection on it. So if we hit mask, now only the building gets the selection. So we have an adjustment, and the building and the curves share, the adjustment, the curves adjustment share the same mask. And so if you want to adjust even more on our adjustment, just double click on the thumbnail there, and you can do things like that. Maybe you like it to have more red in there, so we just go from master to red. You can tweak how we need it to tweak it, things like that. Maybe you like a bit more green in there to enhance the yellowness, or you can even reduce it even more to feel more vivid. You can do that. Cool. And then if you want to do the reflection, My suggestion would be you literally have to reuse the sky layer, superimpose it on the background here, and have it work. But this is just one simple way of doing something quick, readjusting the color. So now we have something that looks relatively good, and that wasn't even very long, right? Only 10 minutes or so. So let's do the next one. Go to File, New, and we're going to choose our screen size, video, Full HD, your document. Come back here, grab these two, drag them into our canvas. So now we can work a little faster now. So let's go again. So we just resize our images, can select them both, zoom out as much as we need to, see how big it is. Reduce the sizes here. Sky fits. Let's make sure the mountains fit as well. Mountains fit too. We want to get rid of the sky. So we can try the object selection tool. You just go in and select our mountain. Select that. Select this. Two nice selections there. And then we can go in with the freehand selection, add to our selection so that we get as much of the selection as we possibly can. So freehand selection, go in add mode and just select this area here. And also get this part too. I want to make sure we get everything on the inside. So the mountains and the trees have been selected. We can go in and refine, but for now, let's just mask it. All right, good stuff. Mostly well done. If anything is a little off, you can always go in and we can, in our mask layer, we just deselect, change the mode to new, and just click. And what I'll do is go on the brush tool, choose black, and anywhere on the mask itself that needs to be erased, I can do that. And one thing I'd also recommend too is when you're using the brush tool, sometimes you might actually want your brush not to be so sharp. Maybe you like to be a bit softer. So right now this one is, I think this one is, the hardness is at 100. When it's less, it gives you a more fuzzy, a softer feel. So maybe you want like clothes to be softer. But this looks okay. So let's rearrange the sky layer down, turn on the sky, and we get something that looks like this. But of course, our sky, our mountains don't feel very, how you say, night. So let's do another adjustment layer on this. We want to feel more blue, and we also want it to be darker. So I might do two different types of adjustment layers there. So we only want to affect the mountains. So for now, I'm going to control click the mask of the mountains. Then for the adjustment layer, we're going to look for something like we have recolor as one. You can try and check that out. See how that looks. So we can make the brightness down. We can even change the hue as needed. Right? Maybe we want something more purple. And so it depends on what you want to do. Right, so let's say it was about that. Drop the saturation and bring down the lightness. And you can even change the blend mode. So blend modes are going to be very helpful. So rather than doing an wholesale color change, you can actually have it just, mixed. So you can mix with the original. So if I change it from normal to, say, we can play around with like multiply or color burn or linear burn. You see different effects of that adjustment on top of what was there originally. Overlay seems to work really nicely. Soft light too, which could work. Hard light, vivid light, linear light, pin light, all these different things. It just depends on what effect you really want to have. So I'll try overlay. And that seems to work really nicely. Right? So we do that. And I'll just deselect. Let's go on a tool. If you find it annoying to try to deselect here, you can say pixel, pixel select, and deselect. And so if I hide the adjustment layer, this is what you're going to see. This to this. So here's a cool thing that we could do too. We could do like a before and an after in this one, where we're going to show one side being the after, one side being the before, and then we're done. So essentially what we want is we want to see what the original mountain was like. So I'm going to duplicate this layer with the mountain, except I'm going to remove the mask. Here we go. So right click, duplicate, and then the mask itself, click on the mask, right click, delete. So now we have this. You can carry this at the top. This is what we would see. And so I only want to show one side of our original. So I can use a rectangle marquee, select about halfway, so, and just mask this part of it. Bam! Before and after. And just to make things more appealing, we can add like a little white line right between it. So we do have some tools here, rectangle tool. Just take the rectangle tool. We're going to change the rectangle to white, which it already is. And now just a really thin selection. Just click and drag, something like so. Just about that. And that's how it goes. And if you want, you can put text in there that say before and after. So let's do that quickly. And here we go. So we have before. Let's make this into, there's a font I like to use called Bebas. I think it's very effective. Before. Now I have another one that says double click after. But dark on dark doesn't work very well, so we're going to change this one to white. So we just go to our font color and white. So before and after. And we have a nice composition there. Cool. So hopefully this helps as well. That's doing composition, blending your images. There are different combinations, there are different images, there are different subjects that you might have that you would like to try. So this is just an intro to this, so you can try it out and hope that improves your graphical skills. I mean, I know there are AI tools out there that you can just say, hey, turn this to night, and it works fine. But at least you know with your own human hands how to do things with the tools that I provide. All right. So thanks again for sticking around. Don't forget to save your work and export it. So I'll see you in the next video. All right. Take care and